Yeah. Hang on. I need help. Can you unface?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's muted. It says live.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Calling meeting to order.
President Cloud.
Here.
Vice President Ball.
Here.
Treasurer Lichtenfeld.
Here.
Commissioner Novosel.
Here.
Senator AK.
Here.
Senator Miller.
Proxy.
Senator Cleveland.
Here.
Senator Clanky.
Here.
Senator Flowers.
Proxy.
Senator Borkowski.
Here.
Senator Connor. Senator Salyers.
Here.
Senator Arnold.
Proxy.
Senator Spalding.
Here.
Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Finelli.
Here.
Commissioner Pinter.
Here.
Commissioner Fell.
Here.
Commissioner Eno. Senator Wassini. Senator Sheep. Senator Givens. Commissioner Anna.
Here.
Senator Stanley.
Here.
Senator Sanders.
Here.
Commissioner Sarah.
Here.
Commissioner Stark. Senator Preston.
Here.
Senator Easton. Proxy. Senator Franchak.
Here.
Senator Freight. Senator Northrup.
Here.
Commissioner Evans. Senator Wilson. Senator Schlosser.
Here.
Commissioner Haskins.
Present.
Senator Rizzuto. Senator Barczewski, Senator Schneider, Senator Miller, Senator Miller, Senator Cromley,
Here.
Senator Deering,
Proxy.
Commissioner Paul, Senator Harper,
Here.
Senator Cole,
Here.
Senator Jones,
Here.
Senator Eunice, Commissioner Holbrook, Senator Zeidenstein,
Here.
Senator Von Heene,
Here.
Senator Woods,
Here.
Senator Bonomo, Senator McKinley,
Here.
Senator Clear,
Here.
Senator Harris,
Here.
Senator Isaacson,
Proxy.
Senator Okuku, and Clerk of Court Thomas.
Are there any additions to the agenda?
I move to add resolution 161751, a resolution to appoint a sorority and fraternity life senator, and 161752, a resolution to appoint a senator to the position of West Green.
Any discussion?
Move to vote.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? They'll be added. Any other additions?
I motion to postpone indefinitely resolution 161746, a resolution to appoint an LGBTQA delegate.
Discussion?
Move to vote.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will be postponed. Other additions? All right, moving forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? They're
I
adopted.
do have a point of information. I sneak little notes in the minutes, and whoever gets it gets a prize. So I know that there are only 2 people who read the minutes. And the winner gets a free coffee coupon, and that's Daily Clear for the 2nd time in a row. So there might be little treats in the meeting minutes. So I encourage you all to read it.
All right, noted. Students speak out. Are there any students here to speak out? Seeing none, moving forward. Announcements will start over here. Sarah?
Hi guys, so the Community Service and Social Activity Committee, we wanna go to the pumpkin patch this Saturday, so it'd be this Saturday, October 23rd at 1 p.m. So I'm gonna pass around a sign up if you'd like to go, please put your name and number, and then we'll put all of y'all in the group me, and then we'll decide carpooling.
Wait, that's Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday,
Oh, okay, good.
at 1. So, it's coming around.
Thank you.
Going off of that, we also decided on having a holiday party on Friday, December 2nd. So that's not coming up yet, but we're also going to be passing around a ton of sheet for that. We're going to be doing a potluck type style, so you can write down your name if you want to come with something you want to bring. There will be hot chocolate and cookies. You don't have to bring that.
What's the date again?
December 2nd, Friday.
Thank you. Other announcements over here? This side of the room? Carolyn?
The Saturday of Dad's Weekend, which I think is first weekend of November, Women in Aviation will be holding our annual chili cook-off and fly-in. So it is $10 to enter chili, $5 for all the chili you can eat. You have an airplane and you would like to fly into the airport, you can do that. And all of the money raised goes towards funding Women in Aviation's annual trip to our national conference, which this year, international conference, I should say, which this year will be in Orlando, Florida.
You know when you put the people.
Sarah?
2 things. So, first of all, Rocky Horror Picture Show opens at the Union tomorrow. I'm so excited, I can barely breathe. But it will be playing tomorrow night, Friday, and Saturday night. Doors open at 9. Get in line at like 7:30. Seriously, if you want to go, be in line super early. All right. Next announcement, I don't know if we're gonna make it committee report. it's gonna be a long meeting if you didn't already read the agenda. So I'm gonna announce this now. Keep your eyes open to sign up for College of Arts and Sciences CAS 4911. How food works in the community. There's an internship opportunity with that. It's going to be really cool, and we're going to create a procurement procedure for getting local food into our dining halls. So it's really good if you're looking to get into business or food studies or environmental stuff or local systems, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can make this work for you and what you do. So if you're interested, please let me know. I'll pass your name on to Teresa Moran. She's very excited about doing this. Thank you. Jordan?
This Saturday, the 22nd, from 7 to 9, in the theater on the Center. The LGBT Center will be hosting a drag show. They're asking for a $5 donation, but we can't pay for that.
Jason and Jenny will be performing in that, so worth going. Nick?
At 9 tonight, if you guys want to, or after you guys do the meeting, we're hosting a big block party in Script 111. Also tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Porter 104, there's going to be a poli-sci staff and faculty student debate talk.
Please do not leave Senate.
That was a joke. Nobody laughed.
Erin, did you?
There'll be another option Tuesday for 6. I'm going to be testing out a sign up sheet. So,
Other announcements? No. All right, as a tabling, sign up. It's already started. So sign up for tabling. Please, if you've already done it 4 times, you can do more. I've been thinking about making a change to tabling, so we're going to take a quick informal poll. The first, we're going to leave it how it is. We do like random days. The thought behind that was you get to see different people. But then we had another thought that maybe if we were always in the same spot, like the same day, for like a longer period of time, people would notice us more. So there's pros and cons to both. I'm going to do real informal poll really quick. We're still going to go for the rest of this semester how we have it, because I already reserved the tables, but for next semester we could start this. So if you think, first raise your hand if you want it to stay the way it is, different days, see different people, different, you have like more variety. Raise your hand if you want to keep it that way. Yeah, I did spend the alternative. And the alternative is the same day every week. You'd still have to sign up no matter what. So raise your hand if you want to keep it the way it is. Okay, now raise your hand if you want to do it one day, same day every week. Okay, some of you guys did not make it. All right, it's pretty even. Do you have a point?
Yeah, would it be possible to do like a Monday kind of deal where we're going to see like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday crowd and the Tuesday, Thursday crowd like all at some point?
Yeah, we could do twice a week, but y'all can sign up for that. I mean, it's on you guys, really. It's not all of us.
Twice a week would be good because some people like can't do certain days, like the whole day, you know, so it'd be good to give another option.
Right, and that was the thought behind like the random
Yeah, I
days.
like that.
We can kind of have the best of both worlds, one day consistent, and then have like another day of the week that's kind of be random. Maybe do Mondays at the same time every day, but then like do an additional day of the week that is random. So you can kind of have that stability for the recognition and randomness schedule.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for your feedback. We'll maybe be changing it next semester, like I said, and this semester will stay how it is. So. All right. Thank you. Any other announcements? All right, then let's move into presentations. We have one tonight. So let's welcome Brad Cohen, our Senior Vice Provost for Instructional Innovation, who will be talking to us about textbook affordability.
Good evening, everyone. How are y'all doing? I was here last year when this initiative was just getting underway, and I asked a few questions. I'd like to see if anything's changed before I go into the presentation. How many of you delay buying your textbooks? That way. Sure. How many of you don't buy the textbooks? How many of you buy your textbooks that you're told to buy and they're not used? How many of you buy the textbook and it's just a long textbook? You arrive on the first day of class and they say, that's all the information. Okay, so things are not great in the textbook area. We've been working for quite some time to try to address this institutionally. And the main aim is to try to control the cost of education, in particular, trying to address the fact that most of you spend in the neighborhood of $1,000 on your textbooks annually. And so we're doing a number of things. I want to share with you where we are right now, but I'd really like some feedback on what we might do that we're not thinking about. Before I get into that, let me just do a little bit to help you understand who I am and what I'm doing. So the textbook initiative is just a part of what I do. Much of my daily life is taken up in a number of initiatives, many of which have direct impact on students. I oversee the Office of Instructional Innovation. We offer a variety of services that are largely aimed at helping faculty develop new ways of teaching that help us move forward institutionally in developing new kinds of programs and new kinds of innovations that can advance the core mission of the institution. We also have student support services for our students who are distance-only students. We do a lot of work in support of them in the advising area. You can learn more about the services on the website, and if you're interested in participating in any way, we would love to have student participation in our services. You can reach out to me directly. The priorities that we have are up here. I have been spending most of the time since I arrived here almost 2 years ago trying to restructure how distance learning is delivered at Ohio University. It's an institution that is doing this. We have over 10,000 students who are fully online. That is anticipated to grow substantially as we move forward. Many of you, maybe, how many of you take online courses as part of your program? Okay, so this is the future. We are both on campus and online. And so I've been working with institutions to figure out how we can do that efficiently and effectively. So there's been a lot of effort there. The textbook initiative is something that I've been working on, and the Student Senate has been intimately involved in that. Gabby, before Hannah, was on the task force. Hannah's on that task force now, and we're really dedicating a tremendous amount of effort and attention to try to address this, and I'll say more about that. There's this thing called the Academic Innovation Accelerator. This is a 3-year grant that I've been awarded, and I'm working on that with a number of faculty to innovate in the way we deliver instruction. You can find the 32 proposals that were submitted about 3 weeks ago on our website, and if you have any feedback for me, I'd be happy to hear that. We're going to be trying to help all of those ideas forward in one form or another. We are developing a set of stories to profile faculty who are particularly innovative or effective teachers. If you want to nominate somebody, send me an email. If you think somebody's doing something really awesome or telling, we'd like to capture that story and share it. The final thing is, I think something is really important, and we're just really beginning this effort. Spaces like this are the past. How we create spaces on our campus to make sure that the experiences you have are truly transformative is a big part of what the institution is preparing to invest in. And I'm leading a task force that's working in that area as well, so that we can think about redesigning our spaces. How many of you have seen Spoon Over 450 or been in a class in that room? Okay, Spoon Over 450 is an active learning classroom. It's these kinds of spaces and others like it, maker spaces, other sorts of things that are coming online at universities like ours, and we're systematically beginning to reshape our spaces. So I would again appreciate some input and involvement from this body in that effort as well. Maybe I can come back in the future and share a bit more about that. But I'm here tonight to talk about this task force. So you can see at a glance who's on the task force. We have student representation, we have IT, Office of Information Technology, my office, several faculty, most of whom are on the Faculty Senate, and also University Services support as well. So this is the Registrar's Office, the libraries. We have a broad constituency here that meets very regularly to try to tackle this complex issue. One of the things that many institutions do to control costs in the textbook area is not available to us. What many institutions do is slap a course fee on particularly large enrollment courses. So any course that has 75 or more students, they say, you're going to buy the textbook, and they work with the students to get consent for this. You're going to buy the textbook. They guarantee 100% purchase rate, and the publisher knocks the price of that textbook down. And so everyone wins. Textbook gets 100% purchase rate. Students, each student pays less than they otherwise would, but every student has to buy. We can't do that here because we have the tuition guarantee. So that prohibits us from that direct and very effective tool. So we're trying other things. So I want to share a little bit about what we've been doing. First, I want to call your attention to the bottom line. Just in the year that we've been working on this, we've shaved off over $1 billion from the price of textbooks at the institutional level. I don't know if you felt that personally, but as an institution, we have managed to shave the cost down $1 million, which is, I think, an extraordinary achievement. And our goal is another $1 million in the next year and a half. So we are really trying to get $2 million out of this on your behalf. We're doing it with a number of strategies. The first is this thing called alt text, alternatives to text. We did this last year. The libraries led this initiative. They basically put out a call to interested faculty, and they managed to shave off with those faculty. They helped them discover alternatives to the textbooks they were using, and clawed back about $250,000 from that initiative alone. We are trying to develop a second round of this. It takes institutional funding to incent faculty to do this, but we're going to try to do this for a second round. This time we're going to try to target large enrollment courses and entire departments and programs. So we're really trying to scale this up and say, instead of individual faculty doing this, let's do this as a department. Let's try to take an entire program and strip away the textbooks and try to substitute alternatives that are open educational resources, homegrown resources, licensed material that libraries have already purchased, or other assets that you might be able to get. This notion of a hackathon came up, and I think this is a pretty cool idea. I'd like your reaction to this. If we invited you to spend, say, I don't know, half a day in a room with some faculty, really trying to knock out an alternative to a textbook, would you be interested in that kind of thing? Pizza and soda provided. So we would say, let's get you into a table in your major, and let's have you work with faculty and really just try to spend a few focused hours coming up with decent alternatives to textbooks. GBM? Yeah. Okay, Anna? What's that?
With rewards, right?
With rewards, right? Yeah, absolutely. So okay, that's fantastic. So we're thinking about doing that as part of the kickoff of Alt Text 2 as a possibility. Top Hat. How many of you have experienced Top Hat? Okay, this is a personal response system, clicker system. The university, we negotiated a 3-year pilot contract with Top Hat to provide access to this system for free for everyone at the university for the next 3 years. What's interesting about Top Hat is they are trying to figure out ways to integrate content seamlessly into that environment. And so we're hoping we can develop open source resources or plug in open source resources and begin to systematically replace the textbooks with a combined approach using Top Hat and homegrown content. The chemistry department this summer was experimenting with replacing their core textbook in their entry-level chemistry courses. If that works, that's going to be several hundreds of thousands of dollars that students aren't going to have to pay going forward. So we're pretty excited about that. The students last year came up with the textbook exchange initiative, and so I don't know, I haven't heard the latest update on the data for that, but there were several hundred people who have been involved in seeking to exchange textbooks in that environment. Any of you involved in this? Okay, small number, so we still have to get the word out on this one, I think. But this is a way, again, students can share books within the university community and exchange those books. The limits, as we all know with these things, is many times faculty want not just that you have the textbook, but that you access the digital content that goes with the textbook. And the digital content doesn't go along with the exchange of the textbook or the resale of the textbook. You all know this. So I'm meeting with publishers next week, in fact, to try to talk to them directly about figuring out a way to make their pricing of the digital materials more reasonable for you. They are a bit like
pharmaceutical companies that are jacking up the price of a necessary medicine. And so we're trying to figure out how we can get them to give us a bit more flexibility with that. I'm working with our local bookstores as well. They are giving us really helpful data about renting and how they are helping students make the right decisions about when to rent and when to purchase. It's a complicated decision. It's not quite so straightforward. Sometimes you will want to buy a book. Sometimes you would be better off renting. Last year, or this fall, students rented rather than purchased books, and to a savings of almost $500,000 just in that alone. So it's something students need to be encouraged to do when it makes sense. We are trying to get that question I asked, how many of you buy the book and it's not used or it's the wrong book? We're trying to get that to 0. So we're trying to work with faculty through direct messaging to get them to put in the right information early and to be really thoughtful about whether they should even have a textbook. And that goes back to the services that we provide. Our instructional design team is really trying to help faculty really rethink the role of content in the 21st century. Why do we need textbooks? Do we absolutely need to have a textbook when so much is available to us online and through the libraries? Is there a way for us to move away? And many times when we start that conversation, we get to a yes. So that's a really exciting opportunity for us, I think. We are really focused in the next couple of months on communication. That's one of the reasons I'm here, to try to begin to spread the word. It would be fantastic if you would take this message out to your peers, have them be thoughtful about how they grade textbooks, use textbooks, purchase textbooks, and come forward with ideas. I had a student email me last week, Gary, I forgot his last name, Gary here? Okay, he was going to try to make it tonight, but out of the blue, he said, I'm a guy, and my friends and I are working on an alternative to textbooks. We want to talk to somebody. So this is something you all can actually have a tremendous impact on. If you have ideas, if you want to come forward and advocate for solutions, we need that voice in this. So encourage your peers to think about this and come forward with some ideas. With that, I guess, any questions? Anna, anything to add?
I would just say if anyone has ideas, not necessarily just about textbooks, but general classroom supplies as well. I know like people use different like things in different classes, and things that we talked about is students tend to have their own tricks within their own majors to get things cheaper. So like share your tricks so then we can share them.
Yes, I have a question. When you talk about like shaving the cost of textbooks, does that also include textbooks? Well,
yes. So we're trying to get the price of course materials down as low as we can. So if it's a digital text, if it's a physical text, if it's course materials of a different sort, like clickers, this is one of the things that expanded our scope beyond just textbooks, right? So is there something you're thinking about?
No, I was just thinking, me personally, I like to use PDF formats of textbooks rather than actual physical textbooks. So I was just wondering, reducing the price of textbooks, you're also talking about e-textbooks as well.
A lot of the solution space here nationally is that you shift from physical textbooks to e-text and get those at a lower price point. The trick there that publishers are pursuing is you're paying for access, not ownership. So your access with an e-text typically expires at the end of the semester, or if you're lucky, it'll last for your undergraduate career, but then you lose it. So they're moving to an access subscription model. And so it's a lower price, but you also don't get to keep it and you can't resell it. So it's not quite as it's not quite as obvious that that's a good thing for you as a student as it is for them as a publisher. But we are talking with them about that and with the price point as well. Yes.
I would see if you could talk to department heads and professors about whether it would be possible to kind of condense for people in certain years and kind of use the same book throughout all of your courses. For example, when I came to Ohio University, I started out as a stats major. I'm still kind of stats because I'm important right now. But I had to buy a book for my probability class. I had to buy one for my intro stats, and then I had to buy a book for my stat series. All of which that information was basically completely available in the last book I needed to purchase, but that information was never made available to me, and I could have just had this one book it has all the information in it. And I think that people out there probably are in similar scenarios in other majors. We try to see if there's a way to condense so that you can just buy, your Stewart calculus book and use it your entire college career.
That's a great suggestion. We're actually, I am meeting with all of the departments. I've got several lined up in the next few weeks, and I'm speaking with department chairs and with the faculty in the department about that kind of thing. How can they better coordinate their decision making around textbooks? It's a fine line because faculty have, and we all benefit from their having academic freedom. So we don't want to be in a position of mandating a particular required textbook that everyone has to use. But there is the opportunity if faculty can work together to coordinate their decision making in ways that benefit everyone. So I appreciate that idea. Yes.
So with as far as pricing goes, a lot of this you can be as a student in some pretty clever ways. Like I just get all of my textbooks through Ohio, which is awesome. But that it's limited resources, unfortunately. But what I like to do if I have to have a textbook, and this is something that professors are often okay with, is to go through and buy an earlier edition, the 7th, 11th edition, 10th. And really the information won't change that much. And this is something that textbook companies like they'll price out when it comes to the newest edition for like $2 on Amazon. But the digital content is really one of the issues, right? For Belfry, especially when it comes to online classes. I'm kind of looking fierce into this one. A lot of the time when you're taking classes that have digital content and not experience that content isn't. So honestly, that's something I wouldn't mind personally seeing phased out. But sometimes it is useful. It's just access codes are like $100 a pop, and it does become expensive, especially if you're not going to.
That's absolutely true. So some faculty I've spoken with make extensive use of those digital assets, and the students claim benefit. They're, in fact, as part of their grade, still the grade book. They take assessments through the publisher, and it's really integrated into the course. Others don't, and if they don't, that's also a signal that they should be making visible to students that, hey, you can buy the textbook from a friend, you don't need the access code. We're not going to use it, or it's only use it if you want to, right? So it's not an essential requirement. But we are encouraging, and I'm encouraged by the fact that many faculty do in fact list editions that they support. Some actually build it into their syllabus. They say, they'll give page references in the syllabus to various editions, and they're very explicit about that. You can use any edition you want up to the 5th one back, right? They don't care because the content doesn't change, and you don't need the newest one. So the more we can do that, again, the greater the benefits to students. So thank you. Yeah.
Along with what Sarah and Joe was saying about like using the same book over certain courses, there are some courses already set up like that. So like 1000, 2000 series of Spanish. If you take the education class, they have like an online content module. But also, so if you take classes in fall and spring, you have access to the whole time. But if you take them in spring and fall, like it times out. It's like a 10-month version.
Right.
So making that more well known to people, like if you can plan your classes in such a way that save money, you have like online access.
Or if you get the publisher to relax that access,
right? 12 months.
To make it a 12-month, or even if you pay for the access, maybe you should have the access for the entire time you're an undergraduate student.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't cost them anything to permit that. So that's the conversation I'm having. Look, let's come up with a better arrangement. Otherwise, I'll start making your job to sell your books to our faculty more difficult. I'll start talking to the faculty about alternatives, right? We need publishers, but they need to be responsive and realistic about what is a reasonable price to charge for material. You mentioned Ohio Link. One of the things that we're doing at the state level, this is a national conversation and it's a state level conversation. So the state government in Ohio is actively working with all of the universities in Ohio on this issue, on affordability. And they are interested in trying to come up with ways to put content into your hands in the most inexpensive way possible. So they're looking at ways, can Ohio Link be expanded, the access their work? Some faculty use that and it works. Some faculty can't use it because of the limitations on access that are built into that system. Can the state help us there? I don't know. But the state might also be able to help us in negotiating with publishers or with other providers. So we're doing this at multiple levels, at the individual faculty level, at the department level, institutionally, and at the state and national level as well. Yes?
On the Ohio initiative, is there a way that it can be set up that I could either donate or maybe even sell my textbook to the school itself so that that book can go into the library so that people can take it out of the library? Because I know there are 1 or 2 copies of a lot of books at the library, but with very, very limited thing. There are 2 copies of this book in the state of Ohio. If you don't get them, you're lost. So is there a way that the school could, I would, you know, if a bookseller is going to give me $5, can the school give me $5 and then the school is going to loan it out for free, whereas the bookseller would be selling it for $75? I feel a lot better about giving my book to the school so that they can loan it out. So is that a thing that can happen where you take textbooks for years?
I think it's a really interesting idea. I think you should reach out to the libraries to have that conversation. Janet Holm, who's on our committee, would be the person to speak with. So Janet would be interested, I think, in figuring out if that's possible. There's a budget limitation, obviously, for libraries, but they do put books on reserve, and students do use those books rather than purchase. But again, it limits access because it's some. That's right. So the more of those we can put there, the better. It's a great idea. Yes.
Hi. Well, I like the idea of shifting from textbooks to an online experience and encouraging professors to do so as well, but I think there's some areas that could improve. For instance, I've been enrolled in 2 different classes, but there's no textbooks, and the professors could weekly do readings in PDF format. However, we need to print those PDF for class, and we cannot necessarily have the computer with us for reasons of distraction. However, sometimes it's hard. It kind of penalizes a student when he or she is not able to print the material for class. So the participation of the student then is limited or cannot participate. So I think that's an area.
Have you had this conversation with your instructor?
I
think you should, right? I think they need to hear this, right? Because they think they're doing something for you, and if it's not working, they need to know it's not working. So speaking as a faculty member, if I did hear that from you, I just wouldn't even think it. I would think, my PDFs for free to my students, and then I wouldn't understand why the discussion is so lacking any kind of depth in the classroom. So that's really important for them to understand the downstream consequences of making that decision. Oh, now you have to print it. It costs you to print, or you can't read your laptop because they forbid it. You don't have access to the materials you need, right? So engaging in that conversation. They want, most of the faculty I met with want to be partners that are coming up with better solutions. Yes?
Well, I know what she was saying. I've had teachers where I've asked them if I can bring my laptop or if I can find some other way, and they aren't okay with it. So,
yeah, I mean, faculty have that privilege, right? They're the ones who are setting the standards for the class, and they do have the academic freedom to set those standards. But you might encourage them to reach out to our instructional design team to have a conversation about whether or not there's a strategy that we can come up with that would help you get what you need and not cause the problems that they're concerned about. Distraction in the classroom is a real issue. We studied this. There's published research on this. Students with laptops distract other students who are trying to focus on the instructor. So this is a real issue. And there's also concerns about the quality of comprehension when you're reading digitally, as opposed to on paper. It's a surprising finding. But if all you're doing is reading a digital text, a physical text is actually better. But if what you're reading is an interactive digital environment that includes text, then it's a different story. But it's really, there's interesting research emerging about this that calls into question the full value of digital text. So faculty are aware of this, they're talking about this, and they have concerns as well. But this is a dialogue we need to have, and having this with your faculty would be really helpful. And if they're interested in finding out the solution, you can send them to me. We can try to figure out a way forward. Okay, let's see something over here. Yeah. Other questions, comments?
If any of you think of anything else, idea-wise, you can feel free to talk to me about it, and I can bring it to Brad and the task force too. So.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
All right, moving forward, committee reports. We'll have 2 committee reports tonight. Budget.
So there are 3 budgets on the agenda this week. 2 of them are kind of like office supplies, like there's a blue book and then a new frame of the Constitution that we'll talk about. And then one is the event through Women's Affairs Commission. Additionally, because it's kind of hectic trying to have budget committee on Tuesdays and the agenda is set up on on Monday, we moved budget to Fridays, make it easier on everyone to get budgets to us. They'll now be due Thursday at 5 p.m. If we don't have any budgets by Thursday at 5, we're not meeting on Friday at 1:30. Hopefully that helps it ease the planning. So then you have to plan 2 weeks in advance instead of 3. I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. And second committee, leadership.
Hey guys, so you're probably wondering why I'm doing my report right now at the end, but if any of you read the agenda, you'll see we have quite a few resolutions coming out of the panel tonight. So I'd just like to take this moment to move to limit debate on each post-related question to 20 minutes and have that.
Discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, so each rules-related resolution will be 20-minute debate. We can add more time as needed, or we don't have to do a full 20 minutes, and then we'll run staff.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the resolutions more as they pop up. So for now,
Thank you. All right, this is the only committee reports we have. Old business, we have none. New business, got a lot. So let's jump in. Senate Bill 1617-02, a bill in regards to supporting the Ohio University Global Strategy. Primary sponsor, Landon Lama.
So we have all heard the presentation from, well, most of us have heard the presentation from Vice Provost Dr. Edmonds about the global strategy a couple weeks ago. The passage of this bill is important on a couple of reasons. Number one, it allows student senate to be brought to the table on academic issues, issues of diversity and inclusion, and all other issues that affect student life on campus. Administrators want to hear what we have to say, and they want us to advocate. We just have to be willing to take the risk and stick our neck out and read these lengthy reports, comprehend them, and understand them. If you pass this bill this evening, Hannah and myself will be presenting this bill to the Board of Trustees. They will be meeting tomorrow and Friday. If you also pass this bill, myself and Hannah will be presenting with Dr. Edmonds at the Academics Committee at the Board of Trustees meeting to show our support for it. And I think it's just all important to get everyone on a global mindset because we're all responsible to have a vision to build a better world and to bring everyone into the fold into these conversations. And I reserve them.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, yours.
Yeah, I echo everything that Landon said. I think it's really important that we support the global community and that as OU grows, I think we should start expanding into the global community and incorporating a lot of international things into our student body. Very good about that.
Thank you, and
yeah, basically echo that this is time, like, for our generation, especially a lot of controversy going on around the world, and in our country alone, this is our time, set in stone, what we're here, and I at this point, some people elaborate on what we're doing, and already as whoever Don or Council earlier about plans to go
there any discussion on the bill? Vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Bill passes. All right, Senate Resolution 1617-39, a resolution to clarify amendments to resolutions regarding changes to the rules and procedures. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked. Primary sponsor Matthew.
Okay, so this was just something that we noticed when we were going through the rules and procedures. The primary sponsor of a resolution can amend it at any time, including being discussed, and we didn't think it was really fair to have amendments to resolutions regarding the rules without going back through the judicial panel. So this just kind of closes that little loophole. And if anybody has any questions about the specifics of this, please let me know. But in my opinion, I think it's fairly straightforward. But yes.
So would any resolutions from the judicial panel be coming from either you or a member of the judicial panel?
No, so the way it works now is anyone can submit resolutions to us that have to do with the rules. Like Zach's been working with us for their resolutions, and so as they give them to us, they have themselves as primary, secondary sponsors,
Okay.
and not us.
I was only confused because like with budget committee, like I as chair of the budget committee, everything is I'm the primary sponsor in every budget.
That was
so I didn't know if it was that kind of like.
Yeah, it's like that. It's something that we discussed. We discussed making either the clerk of court or the chief justice the primary sponsor on these, but we just wanted to make it more clear in the rules and procedures and how this outlined. Just because, I mean, we might do it that way, but down the road they might lose that system. We just didn't want any.
Options not here. Any other discussion? Vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. Senate Resolution 1617-40, a resolution to make corrections to Chapter 1 of the Rules and Procedures. Whereas the judicial panel. Primary sponsor Matthew.
Hey, so we noticed one more thing in Chapter 1 that needed to be moved to Chapter 9. It was just to condense something that really shouldn't have been forever ago. Again, it was straightforward. That was just no.
It's not here. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. Senate Resolution 1617-41, a resolution to add office hours to the point system. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with approving changes to the rules and procedures when necessary.
Second.
Primary sponsor Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, so Landon mentioned last week that 11 out of 70 people submitted office hours form, and when I brought those numbers to the judicial panel, they thought that was really acceptable. It's outlined in the rules and procedures that do your office hours. It's part of your duties as a senator. So we felt adding the office hours to the point system being one place was fair way to do this. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the debate.
All right, options not here. So any discussion?
I just want to give as a point of clarification to people who are maybe not heard this yet. Landon was saying today in the office that we don't leave the forms open until Wednesday of the following week after. So that will give you a lot more time, so don't stress. If you did, just like, try to remember within 5 days.
Other discussion?
Is there any way to send a notification to my phone so that I don't get to them?
I say make a calendar invite that reminds you.
I will do my best to send out the meeting minutes on Friday, then with a link reminding you, but it's week 8, so like it's known that we should be submitting them, but like Sarah said, they will open on Friday, and then they will stay open till Wednesday at the start of this week, and then.
You can tell Siri to remind you. Ron does it all the time. Nick?
Does this start next week? This will like not good.
if it passes, since it's passing tonight, we technically go into the votes tonight, so it would technically be in effect for this week, so it would be the next time this is on. For week 9.
Right.
Does everyone understand what you need to do to avoid getting a point for your office hours? Does anyone not understand?
Yes, you just submit as many as you serve. Everyone has different requirements. We'll check that and make sure it's good. As long as you serve all of them, you won't get a point.
We only need to document the hours that were required, right? So I'm in the office 8 hours, I only have to write down 5.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It passes. Senate Resolution 1617-42, our dispensary. Mary sponsor is Eleanor.
So what has changed from the last time is essentially, rather than having a rotating, we will have one senator from UFund and a senator at large, which is for spot funding, that will attend the meetings. The rest of the Senate will also be available, or staff, the rest of staff will be available for to be proxies for those individuals as well. The reason we did this was to maintain consistency with who is attending Senate, because if we had different people attending, we may not understand what happened the week before. And then those people can also bring back information to us as necessary. Sorry, I'm like blind. I'm like, what is saying at this point? Aside from that, we will maintain 2 votes within the general body. And the biggest thing that is changing now with this resolution is that staff members who do not have a voting right within the general body will be considered delegates. They will be staff delegates. They will still have votes within staff. But that is something that is also going to be changing. So I actually reserved about my time to that to explain a little bit more about how you're going to be changing delegates.
Okay, so we are still talking a lot about this in the judicial panel about the whole restructuring about delegates. We have to still worry about student delegate, and I've also noticed a lot of you, when you write your resolutions to appoint people, you use the word delegate, and really you should use senator. So we're clarifying that in general. So essentially, right now, the plan is to only use the word delegate relating to the staff commission. Now, of course, that might change as we go along, but the definition of delegate as far as the staff senators go will essentially clarify the role that we will try to get the staff senators to be in where they don't have a vote in this body, still are involved in the staff general body, and they still will have, under these rules, they will have office hours inside office, nice, mostly we know about funding, the Senate office, all the time, in and out, more their funding, to be honest. But so, and when they'll all still be elected, and when they're elected, they'll all be elected as delegates, and then at the first staff meeting, they'll pick which 2 of the senators they'll vote those guys in. I think that's all that's really changed. You guys have posted this preparation for form. So I guess I will reserve the balance of Eleanor's time.
Secondary sponsor Haley Clear.
Yeah, Matthew and Eleanor basically explained it all. We're still going to be here. We're still excited to be here. And we'll still be doing stuff. So I reserve that.
And sponsor Charles Buckfish.
Yeah, I guess I'd be available to answer any questions about, I guess like the historical significance. Everybody seems really concerned that like things be something. Yeah, so like.
All right, so we'll be doing staff for this. Assuming that a lot of people are going to want to talk, so raise your name tag and Courtney will put you in the right column. I have one to start.
No, sorry.
I just have a quick question. Will delegates still be held accountable to the point system? Okay. Carolyn?
We're working off of that. Will this be changing anything about how the delegates are put into place to the senators or something like the LGBT commission or something? Those are appointed and yet they still have votes, and yet these people are going to be elected and not have votes. So has there been any consideration of like
about the word delegate as it is. This entire outline of delegates' responsibilities and duties. We don't really use that per se. So essentially the idea behind having them still be elected is because they do have a vote, it's just not in Senate, general body, it's in the SAC level. So we didn't feel that it would be fair to have 10 people who are making all these so it's to preserve the rights of this choose their representatives. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so kind of like with what I was saying, I definitely don't think there should be a point where there's discussion of like SAC not being elected. The money they oversee is like student money that like comes from student fees. So I think students definitely should have a voice in who handles their money. But I also don't necessarily like the idea of like them having like I don't know. So I'm in the mindset of like you represent population whenever you have a vote. So like the reason why we have like so commissioners represent like the needs of Senate, like the needs of the executive officers. But every senator has a very specific like group they represent, whether it be sorority fraternities, Greens, and so on. The reason why we don't have environmental affairs senators is because the environment's like a concept, not like a person. So like so like I don't think that like SAC should necessarily be voting because like they represent like a pool of money, not like students.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm like slightly confused where you're going with this a little bit, but hopefully like I interpreted it correctly. I guess so everybody's like, well, like if you're elected by students, you have a vote in this body because you're supposed to be representing the body. But again, like, and I think I've said this before, like that is not SAC's like purpose. Like everybody else's purpose here, right, is to represent a section of students and then like have their voice be heard in this body. Like that is not our purpose. Like our purpose is essentially to make sure that we're being impartial judges of students' money and giving it back to them as much as we like possibly can. And again, like so, I think that impartial part is like very important because we are not supposed to be representing anybody's voice, right? We're just supposed to be making choices based on like the facts of what people present to us.
Just a quick question. Will Will the non-voting members of SAC then be able to proxy in general body for others?
Yes.
Is there anyone else who wants to talk? Really? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Working as well. This resolution has gone back and forth with the judicial panel 3 times. And they've had really great insight, really great discussion, and they're, because of this, we continue editing with the delegates and everything. So also, like, thank you to the judicial panel. Also, like, yay, it's working! Great! Okay. Ready?
I'm working on it.
Resolution 1617-43, a resolution to appoint a justice to the judicial panel. Whereas there is a judicial panel within student senate, and whereas there is a vacant justice position, whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Logan be appointed to the position of justice, and be it further resolved to appoint be effective immediately. Primary sponsor, Courtney.
So for all of the obvious reasons, I have no part in the interviewing or appointment of folks who are on the judicial panel. So I'm going to yield the balance of my time to Matthew if he has anything to say about this.
We've been looking for a while, and so we finally found someone. That's all I really understand. Qualified to do the job. Option was still one who conducted the interview, but I have faith in his selection skills. So, appointed. And I reserve the balance for Courtney's time.
I'm secondary sponsor. Are you Logan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. That's how little I should know.
We can't say well voted yet. We haven't voted.
Right, I should really trust Tasha. I do really trust Tasha. I do. I do, so I recommend appointing on I reserve the balance of my time. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Senate Resolution 1617-44, a resolution to appoint a senator to the Residence Life Commission. Primary sponsor, appoint senator. Okay, secondary sponsor, Courtney.
Okay. Zach Reese is a wonderful candidate for this position. He has been interested in the goings-on of Senate for quite some time. You may have recognized his face. Zach, will you wait? He's been in and out of meetings. He understands what's happening. He's been involved since last year. And so I would highly recommend his appointment. He's ready to get started and deal with it.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It passes. Welcome. Senate Resolution 1617-45, a resolution to appoint a Black Affairs Commissioner. Whereas stated in the Student Senate Rules and Procedures, Chapter 5, is my study. Primary sponsor, Courtney.
Hi, Nancy. Kira, would you wait? Everyone, this is Kira. Kira has been a wonderful member of the Black Affairs Commission from day one. Unfortunately, her commission has been in a circumstance where it's been unable to get off the ground. We are making Kira, or I recommend that you make Kira the new Black Affairs Commissioner so that she can get to work and get started. She's a wonderful worker. She's ready to do great things with her commission, and I fully believe in her and her power to get things to things. So let's make her a commissioner. Feel the balance right now.
Yeah, echo everything Courtney said. Kira will be great. I reserve the balance of my time. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, this was tabled indefinitely at the beginning of the meeting. Resolution 1617-47, a resolution to appoint members to the Internal Budget Committee. Whereas the Internal Budget Committee is Student Senate, and whereas there are vacancies on the Internal Budget Committee is Student Senate, therefore be it resolved that Allison Harper, Women's Affairs Senator, be appointed to fill the vacancy, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately. Primary sponsor, Jacob.
Yeah, so Cassidy Paul was on the, she's Women's Affairs Commissioner. She was on the Budget Committee to represent her community and represent Senate. Due to time conflicts and due to like a heavy course load this semester, she had to step down. Allison is a senator on the Women's Affairs Commission, so she like represents kind of the same community and kind of the same like point of view that like we like wanted to make sure was like included. I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Steve.
I echo what Jacob said, the trust is good.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Non-budget. Resolution 1617-48, a resolution to purchase two books. Primary sponsor, Jacob.
We are currently out of 2 books. I know we bought some a couple weeks ago, but with midterms, like we're out of them in the office, serving by students. I think it's very important. You should pass this. I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Cassidy Paul.
I reserve the balance of that.
Any discussion?
Yeah. So is there like
Just something in the future media, like,
maybe we could make like almost like something that is like mandatory thing that like we do as Senate or something. I'm not sure because I'm like I feel like we pass this a lot and I'm like I feel like it should just be like something that we are always doing here.
it could be a rule change that we put forward to like add it into the, yeah, okay.
And is it possible to buy blue books in bulk maybe at the beginning of the year for possibly a lower rate? That way we can just have them on reserve and not spend quite as much.
Like based on the previous budget.
Then, yeah, that's probably.
We don't buy it, like just think about it.
Well, no, we buy the, it seems like no matter how much we buy, we still run out, so.
There are about 500 worth in this budget right here.
Sounds like a conversation we should keep going.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
By like 10,000 over 4,000.
Like a pound.
Yeah.
I move to vote on the resolution.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Alright. Senate Resolution 1617-49, a resolution to purchase a new constitution. Whereas the Ohio University. Jacob?
So we changed constitution this last summer. First time in like almost my lifetime. It's kind of exciting. We need a new copy for the wall. It'll have like the members of the student senate last year who like were instrumental in this. It may seem like a lot of money for like a piece of paper and frame, but like we want to make sure it's like done correctly and done professionally. Ours was lots of time.
Thank you. Next sponsor.
I yield my time to Wayne and Lana.
So, like Jacob said, we have a new constitution. It will include the members of the Senate Special Committee on Reform and Teachers Committee. It'll look super nice. Hopefully, it changes again. Maybe, who knows? It might. There's some things in there that can do well, but this will be a good installment in the office to show the transition between, what is it, 20 years was the last time the Constitution was updated for Student Senate. So it will look nice on the wall next to the old one. And I reserve the balance of John's.
Any discussion? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Create a new constitution. Senate Resolution 1617-50, a resolution to fund a reproductive health panel. Whereas the Ohio primary sponsor Jacob.
So this was brought to us by Kim. I'll yield my time to Kim. So she.
She was here. I think she left.
Okay. So I can talk briefly about this. So there's a reproductive health panel coming up. They are having it at the Athena only because the space is easier to do it with like the way that it's set up. They also, it's easier to book the Athena, like timing wise, as opposed to like somewhere in Beta where those spaces you can have a lot faster. The concessions are kind of incentive to come, as well as like that would go into software like staring at each other. And the posters are just like advertised for the event. I cannot say when the event is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's a good question for Kim. I'll give them lots of time.
Secondary sponsor Austin. So. Does anyone on the Women's Affairs Commission know when this event is?
In the middle of November, I want to say it's the weekend of the 19th, 20th, but I don't know the exact thing. You can use trust me on that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. All right, these were added resolutions, so yeah. Senate Resolution 1617-51, a resolution to appoint a sorority and fraternity life center. Whereas stated in the Student Senate, primary sponsor Tony Moore.
Hi, so we're very, very excited to finally fill this position and bridge that gap once again between the Student Senate and the Office of Sorority and Fraternity Life. We're particularly excited about Katie. She is a wonderful candidate. Katie, would you wave? That's Katie. Katie came in like guns blazing and is really excited to not be an idle body in Student Senate and was talking about the ways that she wants to bridge the gap between our two communities. So I highly recommend that you bring her on board. I'd be really disappointed if you don't, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Very sponsor Jacob Pastor.
Yeah, so I echo everything Courtney said. We've tried as a commission to like help that community, but we're not part of the community. We need someone who represents it better. I just want to comment.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Welcome, Katie. Senate Resolution 1617-52, a resolution to appoint a senator to the Residence Life Commission. Second. Primary sponsor Quentin is not here. Secondary sponsor Courtney.
Alicia, are you here? No, that's okay. So as with all of our other appointees, she will be here since she will be in the Westgate Center if you appoint her. So keep an eye out for her face. But I trust Quentin's judgment. He and the rest of the Residence Life Commission brought Alicia forward as a worthy candidate, and she is very excited to get started. So I yield the balance of my time.
Discussion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Welcome, Alicia. We are getting the commission report.
I know, I know it's not my question has no report. I just want to make an announcement regarding the international community. Yeah,
The commission does have a report today, so.
Do I?
Yes.
I remember doing one last week.
You made an announcement last week because last week wasn't your report week.
Oh, wow. My bad.
That's okay. You can come and go first.
Huh?
Wait, and also I really have to go to so I'm gonna designate me as my president pro
I'm not gonna anyway.
Hey,
all right, yeah, okay. So why do they want to get out of here? Will you give your report, please?
We had our first event today, the documentary screening. They went well. Unfortunately, because of the crunch time and like it was very crazy getting the day set up. The turnout was not as big as I wanted it to be, but it was still rewarding. The discussion went amazing. The points were clear, and I'm looking forward. We came up with a thing that we are gonna do the screening again, but as a part of the quality department, we're gonna get in contact with them because the point of the idea has to come through. It carries a very beautiful message. Towards that. The next coming up, event is going to be on November 9th, the Around the World in 80 Minutes. I just made one presentation to the African Student Union last week, and we got, was it 7 or 9? 7 countries at once. And this is just the African Student Union. we just had a presentation today with the Hispanic and Latino Student Union, so that's on board, and we are rolling. So this is going to be a big event. It's going to be in Baker Ballroom from 4 to 6 on a Wednesday, November 9th. We just also had a meeting today for the globalization event that we were working on, and we are planning huge things. Like, I'm very excited. My commission is really busy, and we are doing this. Just a quick announcement, the African Student Union have their African night this Saturday at Walter Rotunda at 7 o'clock. Guys, their event is amazing. It's one of the biggest events of the year for the International Student Union, and the food is to die for. It's super delicious. So I very highly encourage you to go get your ticket. There's still tables at the Baker for. So I highly encourage you to go. It's a very great event, and my report.
I want to ask you very briefly, focus back in, repeat that time and date one more time for the African Student Union event, because I'm going to repeat that message. Highly recommend. It's an amazing experience. When is that again?
It's this Saturday at the Walter Rotunda at 7 o'clock p.m.
Thank you. And I remember that you all as a body just discussed integrating domestic students into international communities. So this sounds like a really fun opportunity to do so. Off-campus life.
All right, so to reiterate what Erin said earlier, there's another community activity next Tuesday, right? Do you want to tell them what time and where?
4 to 6, and it's going to be at West State Street Park, and movie far, we're going to be having local rides and makers with the park. So that everyone can that's pretty good. All right, so last one, not many student senate members can make it. I was at work, so I couldn't be there. But this time I hope that some student members will go. It's free food. I mean, come on. So go that Tuesday, 4 to 6, West State Park, Rides and Makers. We are putting together, we're finishing touches on our residence hall flyers for students moving off campus that still live in residence halls. Look out for those on Twitter, retweet them. With green slippers, we're going to slip them your way to put in the residence halls. Joe met with city council today along with some other part of the executive team, and he knows some words and he's going to say them.
Yeah. So yeah, task force meeting. So we just kind of talked about how we could work with the city, make
class safer, things like that. We can get educated residents, before class, maybe getting flyers, talking about possibly getting porta potties or put a dash during class. So going on that.
We are done. Thank you.
Thank you. Environmental affairs.
Okay, so I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of the meeting. There is a really awesome internship opportunity through the Food Studies team and the Office of Sustainability. If you want more information on that, you can come to me. I'll put you in contact with Moran. It's going again to be the creating a procurement procedure for getting local food in the dining hall. So you're going to be working with our community members, you're going to be working with farmers, you're going to be working with dining services, you're going to be working with the Office of Sustainability, you're going to get in contact with a lot of people, you're going to meet a lot of people, you're going to make connections. Great. This came to me during today's Food and Transportation Task Force meeting, where we also discussed the composting initiative, which might actually get off the ground. We're really excited, so I talked to Laura Cadmus, told her about our plan to put a single composting bin in Southside Espresso Bar in Nelson and also in the Front Room Cafe in Baker. Those are already on our compost pickup routes. I'm very hopeful that we can see this before the end of the year, so keep your fingers crossed for me and for Lydia and for Liza back there who's crossing so proud. So I'm really, really hopeful that that's actually going to come to fruition this year. What else? Lydia, who is not here, is in contact with Res Housing about having the RAs do boards that talk about how to reduce your waste and what to recycle and what to compost, like how you can be a better citizen of the earth. So that's going to be happening if you live in a resident hall. Keep an eye out during the spring, coming to you. We're also really confused as to why the magnets that the Office of Sustainability printed for the res halls about recycling aren't there. We're trying to get to the bottom of that issue because that was our idea, and they said we already did it, and we said, okay. So we're going to try to figure out what happened there. What else? The Master of Sustainability Management event that I promised you from the Cobalt School of Business at American University has been postponed. It's going to be on November 15th at 1 p.m. It's 1 p.m. in the Amanda J. Cunningham Leadership Center. If you're interested in management, entrepreneurship, government policies, anything regarding the environment or being a sustainability coordinator or implementing it in any way in your career, I would highly recommend coming. I'll be plugging it at every single meeting because I'm really excited and I need people to come. So, if you care about sustainability, if you care about management, if you just like me and don't want to see me cry, be there. The Climate and Energy Task Force met last week. What we discussed there was trying to look at our peer institutions as to how we can better implement green energy on our campus. This is something that Senate is supporting, but not actively involved in at the moment because I don't know much about getting solar panels on this campus, but I'm looking into it. For our part, we told them that when we're interviewing these peer institutions about how they implemented on their campus, my biggest concern was that we stress the importance of asking them what the cost was and what it would mean on our campus if we wanted to implement green energy and how we could affordably do that for students. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Black Affairs, we have a newly appointed commissioner. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
If anyone is interested or knows anyone that's interested in being on my commission, let me know.
Great. Thank you. And staff, would you give us a report?
We'll be in the office. Please let me know if you guys have any questions about resolution as well as about staff funding. We had a workshop today that Charlotte oversaw and she said it went great. Additionally, we are going to start looking into research. We're doing a research team with our interns, and Haley's going to be leading that team to potentially see if we can get staff more money for students because we have more students on campus than ever, and we still have the same budget forever. That is less than a couple years ago. So that's something that we're going to be working on, and I'll keep you all updated on that. So that. And then on Monday, we also had the Big Three come in and present to us. We're working hard thanks to Haley's initiative to be interactive with the Big Three, know what they're doing. They've had a lot of really cool events. They're going to keep having a lot of really cool events, so make sure you're looking into what's going on campus. That's it.
Just something that I was curious about the panel was November 17th.
November 17th. Cool. Mark it down.
Not quite yet, I don't think so.
Okay. Bills, when we pass them, they really matter. They really start conversations within the university administration, and they're effective. So the bill that we passed last week, which is called the bias incident reporting tool that we supported, that immediately sparked conversation within the offices that's being talked about in. So kudos to all of us for passing that and making that conversation get started. I think that tool is going to move along a lot faster because of it. And I encourage all of us as a body, if we have student issues that we think are being ignored, bring it forward. Let's talk about it, and then that'll make the administration talk about it. What I've heard from the administration regarding bias incident reporting system is they're looking into some legal issues with it right now. So it was kind of just sitting around because no one really wanted to deal with it, and then we were like, deal with it, and they were like, okay. So they're now looking at the legal issues that are surrounding it. Sarah Pinter is going to be on the planning committee for that, though, so conversations are going to be taking place about what we can do to make it anonymous, if we can't, but looking at that, and it is moving forward. Conversations are happening, so I just wanted to make you all aware of that. The diversity and inclusion task force that I've been talking about, that the 5 Senate leaders came up with, and is authorized by the Office of the President, is still taking place. It is in the timeline to have that filled by November 1st. So I've been trying to reach out to members of different communities that I know have been working on a lot of cultural initiatives already. If anyone in this room has suggestions of people who you think would be good, let me know. Or if you yourself are interested, let me know. There will be 4 representatives from the undergraduate population that we essentially will be choosing. The president's office kind of given us the go-ahead. Once we give them the names, they'll nominate, they'll send out the letters and get it going. So if you have anyone that you think would be really good, let me know, because I don't know everyone, but collectively we know a lot of people. Also with that and other CATS news, the visualization button campaign that we've been talking about, anticipated budget coming forward next meeting. Budget start meeting Friday, like this Friday? Sweet, so you're going to see budget meeting. So we're going to start out with 500 buttons and attach a little business card size pledge that we will be handing out to students. I will ask for all of your help on that to give it up to student boards. If anyone wants to help me craft that pledge that will be connected to those buttons, let me know. I will probably run a draft by you all for suggestions via email when we do have it. But if you have anything that you think should definitely go on that pledge, tell me about it, because that's going to get started. And then our hope is that those first 500 buttons will spread. People will be like, I want them, I don't like racism. And then so that's the hope, and then hopefully we'll be ordering other offices. We don't have to use next money, but we can use office money since President Davis and he's still behind us. And get a lot more buttons out there and get that conversation started about how we do not tolerate any kind of hate on campus or off campus. So BPC met on Friday. We talked a lot about state share of instruction. It's very, very interesting. If you're interested in it, please talk to me. It's complicated, but I'm willing to talk to anyone who wants to know about how we get funding from the state. It's not very simple. Also, with state share of instruction, if you know anything, you know it's gone down. We used to get almost like 60% of our budget coming from the state, and now it's somewhere around 15. which is kind of unreal. So I've been talking to Eric Richard, who is the university's lobbyist up in Columbus, talking to him about when the state will go forward with passing budgets for higher education. That is going to be starting in February, so come spring semester, we will be sending groups of people up to the State House to lobby, to the Finance Committee, to the people on the Subcommittee of Higher Education in particular, to tell them our personal stories about why higher education deserves more funding. So just keep that on your radar. We're also hoping to potentially do collaborative efforts with other public institutions in the state of Ohio. City Council lunch is happening on Friday. I sent you all an email about that yesterday. If you would like to attend, please let me know by the end of tonight's meeting. Come up and talk to me after. If you haven't, let me know. Because we are buying Jimmy John's. So that's also an incentive. It will take place at 12:30 in Baker 237. 7 out of 8 members of City Council will be there, so it will be a great chance for us to get to meet all of them, bring any student concerns that we have, and start a path of collaboration for the rest of the year. So Christian kind of brought this up earlier when we talked about global strategy, but a group of us met with Dawn tonight, who came in with LJ. If you guys recall, you signed up if you were interested in working with the committee to talk, to make forums for global perspective. There will be another meeting tomorrow night at 5 p.m. in Baker 229. So if you didn't have the chance to go tonight and you're still interested in joining in on that conversation, tomorrow, 5 p.m., Baker 229, Dawn will be there. And as Landon mentioned before, the Board of Trustees meeting will be tomorrow and Friday. It's taking place on the Athens campus. It is open to the public. Most of it is besides the executive session. So if you want to go, Landon will be there the whole time. I will be there most of the time, except when I'm in class. So if you're interested, we also plan on having the student trustees come in again, just like they did after last Board of Trustee meeting, to give us a briefing over what the Board of Trustees is talking about. Just so, in case you're not aware, the Board of Trustees is kind of like the top of what the university does. So they're like the ultimate decision makers. So that's really where the power is. So it's interesting to see what they talk about and interesting to see the future of the university, kind of. So let me know if you want to go. I'll go with you. I'll sit by you. But that is the end of my report.
Hi, everyone. We're going to start by yielding a little bit of my report time to Kate Brooms, our new sorority and fraternity life secretary.
Hi. Okay, so I didn't make this earlier because I wasn't a real procedure yet. Okay, so I just wanted to announce that Signal Lambda Gamma is going to have their 5th annual cultural throwdown in Baker at 7 p.m. this Friday in Baker 242. I'm going to be there, so if you don't have anybody to go with, give me my number, you can come with me. But it's going to be amazing. There's a million people thrown together, a bunch of cool dishes, and I'm going to eat it all. Thanks.
Would you repeat that date and time one more time?
Yes. Baker 242, Friday, October 21st, 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll be in the minutes. Great. Okay. Hands up if you consider yourself a student leader, please. Sweet. Hands up if you, put them back down. Hands up if you feel like you have some room for improvement in said student leadership. Cool. Me too. Looks like we're on the same page. There is an opportunity for said student leadership development. Hands up if you consider yourself a potential change maker on a college campus. Great, I want to send all of you. Okay, so happening very soon, the Collegiate Leadership Conference of Ohio is an opportunity for you to go for free, interact with other student leaders who are also interested in becoming change makers on college campuses. And Student Senate is going to sponsor a maximum of 10 of you. We want to send you and be able to put you through that experience. So write this down. It's Friday, November 4th, and Saturday, November 5th. This will all be in the minutes, so don't worry too much if you miss a piece of it. And it's at Columbus State Community College. The theme of this Collegiate Leadership Conference of Ohio is Everyday Heroes from Ordinary to Extraordinary. And the theme of the conference is going to focus on everyday actions that you can take to inspire change and positive impact on your college campus specifically. As mentioned before, Student Senate is going to sponsor a maximum of 10 of you to go, with probably likely Javonto, on that Friday and Saturday. Right, Javonto. So I'm really hoping that every one of you are chomping at the bit to be at this conference and kind of get that experience and interact with other student leaders. So we do have an application. Write this down. This application is open right now on WorkSync. It's under the Forms tab. It's titled Collegiate Leadership Conference of Ohio Application. And for those of you that utilize our handy dandy little pin system, it is pinned right to the top of Forms. So if you go under Forms, it is the first thing that you will see. The application for this conference is open. It is due this Sunday, October 23rd at 11:59 p.m. I would not do that to you if it were not easy to fill out. It's a few simple questions and your contact information. Tell us why you want to go. Tell us why you're interested. Tell us how you're going to bring it back to campus. I'll get there. So those applications are now open. They're under Forms. They're due Sunday, and then we will announce our selected attendees at next Wednesday's GBM. A big thank you to those of you who are in the room and not in the room. We know who you are, but the Leadership Development Committee of a few very special, dedicated, hardworking students in this room. Hands up if you're in the room, and a few who aren't have helped select this conference, put together the application, and then that group of students will be reviewing each application, and we will be selecting the conference attendees. So again, for those in the room, Jordan Jacob, who is the and also know Phoenix Train and Emily Deering, who are not in the room tonight, by making that commitment to that committee, they are sacrificing their ability to go on this conference. So thank them for that. If you have any questions about the conference, about the applications, about the process, please reach out to me, send me an email. It's due on Sunday, so that turnaround is fairly quick. We'll announce our attendees next Wednesday, and I hope you all are interested, and I hope I see a lot of applications flood in. Cool. An update for the body on follow-up to our resolution regarding the Roger Ills newsreel. So if you all remember, a few weeks back, we passed a resolution denouncing the actions of Roger Ills, and then we had a few attached resolve clauses, which here in the Senate body is an action statement. A resolve clause is a thing that we're going to do. So following up on things that we said we're going to do, one of those being increasing advertising of survivor advocacy resources. The Budget Committee will see a budget this Friday for a bathroom stall advertising campaign. If you all haven't noticed, student affairs, again, as Hannah mentioned before, when the Senate body says we need to do a thing, the university recently has been picking that up and saying, like, okay, let's do the thing. So we called for increased advertising of survivor advocacy resources, particularly staff. And student affairs instantly sponsored some really great stand-up advertising outside of the Baker escalators, if you haven't seen them. Our part, the way that we're going to contribute, hopefully, as the Senate, is to fund a advertising campaign where on the back of every single bathroom stall in Baker, all restrooms, there will be all of the relevant information about survivor advocacy resources here on campus. You'll see that budget next Wednesday. Another one of the resolve clauses, things that were said we're going to do, was host a forum on power-based abuse in the workplace. I am certainly not even close to anyone with any kind of knowledge on power-based abuse in the workplace and how we can present that to the student body. So what we have done is reached out to relevant communities on campus and people who are advocates in the field, people who are experts in the field, and basically ask them for guidance. If Senate says that they're going to do a thing for positive impact on the community, we'd like to make sure that we do it well, right? So we don't just want to host a random forum on a random day and say, come discuss and have the same 10 people show. So we want to make sure that we're taking a look at, are we bringing in speakers, are we hosting a discussion, or kind of resources are we bringing in, what kind of forum is this going to look like, how is that going to take shape? So keep your eyes peeled for more information on that, likely from me, but what we're doing is reaching out to people who are frequent advocates and experts in this field to ask for their help to shape what that forum is going to look like. And finally, on that note, another one of our resolve clauses was to call for the preservation of the event and continued dialogue about power-based abuse in the workplace. Shout out to Connor Atchell, our Scripps College Senator. He is in conversation with the Dean of the Scripps School, Scott Pittsford, on the steps that we'd like to take to preserve this event and continue that dialogue. The idea that is in conversation right now is to make part of Scripps Communication Week. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, every spring, Scripps holds a week of lecture series and really great events. Part of Scripps Communication Week to implement a lecture on power-based abuse in the media. And that would be an annual thing, a recurring series, and it would continue to bring up that conversation. So for right now, that is a piece that's in discussion on preservation of the event surrounding the WOUB. I know that was a lot of information, but we presented that resolution as a body and you all committed to continue those actions. So we want to make sure that you're updated on what's going on behind the scenes. Did all that make sense? Cool. If you have input that you'd like to give or if you have any other questions, please let me know. And then finally, I am sitting on the Park Place Strategy Planning Work Group, which met today. It is co-chaired by Jason Pita, who's not with us tonight, unfortunately, and then the University planner, Shauna Boland, as well as Vice Provost Cohen, who spoke to us earlier. He also sits on the community along with a faculty department chair and 2 city council representatives. The charge of this group is to take a look at Park Place itself. So when you're walking along Alden, by different library, Gordy Hall, all of those campuses, etc. We are taking a blank canvas look essentially at that space, how any of the buildings that are dark can be best utilized, how the space can be restructured for student, faculty, resident collaboration, and essentially how to make that the best use space, high interaction, and then get groups on campus that need that space what they need out of it. It's quite a lot of conversation. We met today to introduce the membership, the scope of the work group, and then begin setting our timeline. So the Board of Trustees meets post this meeting again in April 2018. So next spring, that's when our big deliverable will be due. Essentially, things to know are that in the meantime, we are taking input from everyone on what you feel would be a great way to utilize that Park Place space. So as always, ideas and input are welcome to my inbox. Come chat with me. But keep an eye out because this group knows that it needs input from the whole university community, and so this task force, this planning work group will be posting open forums, we'll be putting out advertisement and things like that. So if you're a member of a community that needs more space, let me know. If you know of a resource that would be better used on Park Place, let me know. We can have those talks. We'd be happy to have them. That is the end of my report.
So, I sit on the library committee, and a few quick things. There's an 1804 endowment fund for those doing research and undergrads are able to apply for it. So they told me to put that out there. I think it's $50,000 to $75,000 given out every year. So if you know anyone doing kind of unique research or research with resources that are scarce, hard to acquire, and you can get support of your department or they can, tell them about this fund. Another thing with the library committee, the 4th floor, so the master plan, there's being a renovation to bring the tutoring center from downstairs up onto the 2nd floor, or the 4th floor. And so, no, the 2nd floor. Yes, the 2nd floor is being redone. The 4th floor, at the board of trustees meeting, it's being voted, the budget to keep it open 24 hours is being voted on. It will likely be open 24/7 next fall, maybe this spring at best, but likely not. So that's something that's definitely happening. They said that that's been the single most requested thing from the library. I know that's something a lot of people advocated for before. So it's good to see that that's happening. As far as auxiliary budgets go, I know if the people that are interested in that or that I have on that committee want to stay after, I need to Pete Trenikowski email me back, maybe set up a meeting with him, sit down and start taking a look at the housing budget. So that's either going to be Friday of this week or probably next week sometime. And then kind of regarding what Eleanor said with SAC and researching to put forward a proposal, our target is kind of probably November, end of fall semester. I'm also doing peer institution research and seeing what some of the budgets they get per student, for programming, things like that. So we're looking to get a pretty strong proposal forward. Some of the key university administrators already know it's coming. We haven't had a budget increase in at least 10 to 15 years. So tuition's gone up, number of students go up. So I think we have a pretty strong that. Great choice. So setting $9,850, approximately $4,500 that is allocated. So that includes my discretionary and some other things. I said that was all allocated. So that's leaving us with about $5,300. So and the reason for the big drop was we pay half of our advisor stipend for Squanto, took that out of there. So if you're just doing an event, just be conscious in maybe the community that you're working with or targeting, maybe that center if it, just have your budget. So just be mindful of collaborating with other organizations. I know it's sad. That's something we look for a lot. And I can't see. Yeah, it's the same from last week. 60,000 approximately for SAC. We fund
70,613.
Yeah, thank you. Those are true and accurate stats.
Okay, so my report, I serve on the Joint Police Advisory Council. If you have any feedback you want to give about police and community relations, please let me know. There's kind of been a theme from everyone up here about committees. If you serve on the university committee, you're going to be seeing an agenda item in the coming weeks about little areas on the agenda to give your input on the committees that you serve on. It's super important to pass that information along so everyone knows what committees are working on. I will be leaving Saturday for Australia. Danny has been shadowing for the week, and we're working some things out, so he'll be taking over my duties for 2 weeks, and it should be great. If you receive an email from myself at around 9 a.m. on Mondays, that means that we want you to potentially go to an event to represent Student Senate at. If you cannot go, normally they're commissioners that are being CC'd on these emails. We feel that these events are important and should have a student there to give a student perspective. If you cannot go as a commissioner, please reach out to a commission member to go for you. And then once you know who's going, please let that email back. It will probably be checked by Danny or myself. So we know who's going. If no one can go, then we need to find someone that can go. Because most of these events are important and should have a student voice there. Staff updates, quickly. Kelly is doing some good things, being the chair of community service and social activity. Like you found out, pumpkin patch sign up is going around somewhere. Holiday party will take place around the first week of December, right before finals. The director of alumni relations, Max, he is going to coordinate with the alums to get them their T-shirts because some of them expressed interest in getting T-shirts from last weekend and they don't have them. He's also going to make a current directory of active alumni in the Student Senate Alumni Society. This directory will be updated with their name, their current occupation, their major from OU, their positions they had at OU, and kind of the contact info. Favorite thing they have about Senate. This will kind of be used so you all can network with people who have an occupation that might be a route you want to go into, or the potential for you to reach out to people who have had your position, and you can see what they didn't do and what you might want to do. Interns are working on their intern project. Veterans Day. I will talk a little bit about it, and then I don't know, Jordan, do you want to touch on it?
Veterans Day? Sure.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wait for that until we get to staff reports. Let's see what else. And that's the end of my work.
Oh yeah, Veterans Day. I know that the Vet Center is throwing a barbecue event. Should be on College Green. I don't know what time it is yet because they haven't told me. But that's going on. So if you're around, free food on College Green.
Do you want to talk about your idea for what Senate will sponsor on Veterans Day? So what we're going to do for Veterans Day is we're going to have a list of all veterans that go to Ohio University. We're going to have it on a running projector on the 3rd floor. So many of you, when you come into the office, you saw the projector there for Black Student Alumni Weekend. It had all the deceased alumni. And then whenever homecoming was, there was a projector there as well. So that's what we're going to do for the veterans. We're going to have some red, white, and blue lights there, and then a running list of the veterans. And that's going to be there, sponsored by Senate. And then I forgot to mention this one thing, but the Survivor Advocacy Program I served on the search committee for the director, and they have reached out. They need students to give feedback to the new director. They're just looking into student input and feedback to better have this fiber advocacy program give better outreach, and so people understand what they're doing. Like Courtney said, with everything concerning SAP. So if you're interested in going to a discussion panel, it will be October 25th at 12. If that works out for you and your schedule, contact me afterwards and I'll email your names to the person in charge. Now they're in the staff and just give that report.
You already heard from me quite a bit tonight, so I'll keep this brief. Thanks for passing those resolutions, and let this just serve as a reminder that if you guys see any rules-related things you think need to change, feel free to email me or come talk to me about it at any time. So, thank you.
I have 3 things. I will let Landon click through the funny pictures before I do. I strategically got myself off the screen. Yeah. So on behalf of Jenny and Jason, again, I want to invite you to the drag show on Saturday at 7 p.m. in Baker Theater. They'd love to see you all there. I also want to remind you all, if you are interested in going to the lunch with City Council on Friday at 12:30, come see Hannah immediately after this meeting. The number for the June John order has to be tonight. And then the last thing I want to say is to encourage you all to head on over to Governors Big Party, which is happening right now in Scripps 111. That is the end of my report.
I move to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Good night, y'all.
Hey, Sarah.
Nothing. So there's that. But they stop rushing. Okay. So I will figure out the I'm just gonna say.
I'm watching in my house on my porch. Flavored food. Like, what do you want for me? I have pumpkin cookies.
It can wait.
I'm anticipating it will be over by 12:30. No one is there.